Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is the Thunder Show. So, we have 4 very interesting wines. We don't have the huge crowd, and I'm not Carson Daly, but today is total request Vaynerchuk, because all 4 of these wines were requested by you, the Vayniacs, the Vayner Nation. So I'm going to try these out just for you because I like you, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun with it. Just 2 more days to enter in your submissions for the Vayniac t-shirt contest. There's a link right over there. If you want to jump in and do it, you're going to have to act quick. People have been working on it for a long time. I saw a couple of previews. It's going to be very fierce. Winner gets a weekend in California with me. I'm paying for everything. We're going to drink some wine, eat some food. It is going to be phenomenal. Speaking of food, you may see a little cheese by me. Cholesterol is a little bit better. You know what that means? I'm eating some damn cheese. I'm going to do a little bit about today. Got a really great clochette, which is a goat milk cheese that I think is outrageous. I had recently, and I need to tell you about it, so that's why it's making its appearance. Let's consider it like an Ed McMahon. It's my sidekick. 4 very different wines, so we're going to get into those in a little bit. But before I do that, you may notice right over there, I've been getting a steady flow. The esteem is lifting. My pride is growing. I want you to friend me up. Link over there. Click it. I am shocked. Not really, because I know what's going on, but you may be shocked to realize that Facebook is outperforming MySpace. If you don't know Facebook, you're sleeping. They may be the biggest. The new AOL, I call them. Okay. Other than that, let's focus on the wines, because that's why you're here. You're not here to hear me ramble, miss the t-shirts, this and that. You want me to taste some wine? So I'm going to taste some wine. Let's get right into it. This is the 2004 Laird Red Head Ranch Chardonnay. $30 US, 91 points, Wine Spectator. Let's give it a whirl. Looking forward to this wine. I've actually heard a lot about Laird for a long time. I hadn't had a lot of experience with their wines, but recently I have. And the Red Hen Ranch is a great little vineyard in Napa Valley. $30 US, a good solid price point. It's not inexpensive by any stretch of the imagination, but has a great score, and clearly it has some great color. Hope you're getting that through. It's got that golden color through. It's doing very, very, very nice. Let's give it a sniffy whippy. Beautiful pear, integrated really nicely with a little bit of apple, Granny Smith apple and pear coming through. A little hint of fig as well, which is quite intriguing and interesting on the nose. I really appreciate that when I see it from California Chardonnays. And we would be remiss to not mention that there is a little oak monster action going on, but it's subtle. It's definitely junior this time. Let's call it an oak monster branch. It's not too over the top like we see all the time in California, but it's clearly there. Let's give it a whirl. Laird family has been in Napa Valley since 1970, and why is that important? Mainly because that's the year after the New York Jets shocked the sports world and won the Super Bowl, pretty much saving the NFL. And the only reason most of you watch football today is because of Joe Namath and the New York Jets. Otherwise, you know, the sport would have never taken off. So, you can say what you want, but you owe a whole lot to your Jets. That's why it's important that it was 1970. The other thing that you need to know about this wine is that it kicks an obscene amount of acidity and alcohol on the mid-palate. I am completely shocked by the transformation of the overall fruit, how acidic and alcoholic it gets on the mid-palate. This wine is something I want to call way too young. It's like sending your 14-year-old daughter on a date. This is unacceptable to do at this point. This wine needs a lot more time. I'm looking for 3 to 4 years aging on this Chardonnay before I think it really will open up and show you what it's got. The buttered popcorn aspect is in the hizzy. It's like we're going to see Jurassic Park all over again. Way too much butter on the popcorn that night. Way too much buttered popcorn in this wine as well. I'd like to see that subside. But what's intriguing to me, an imperative to understand about wines, is when they're young, if you're getting a nice rounded finish and an overall structure based on the wine, nothing is too crazy. Yes, you can get a lot of alcohol and acidity in mid-palate, but if you can see that there's walls of flavor in other directions, which is what I see from here, there is an apple component, a pear component. It does have a long finish, though a little too buttery, and it's just well structured. The overall acidity is too high, but it has a common theme for white wines. This is a wine that I think can do much, much better in the future, but since I'm scoring it today, I'm going to give this wine 88 points. It's a solid effort, again. It's a very good wine. A lot of times everybody's been busting my chops about the way I've scored. You didn't like it and you gave it an 87. No, that sometimes has to do with me just being a little bit disappointed. I like this wine. It's a good, solid Chardonnay, but obviously not profound or exciting or as rated as high as the Spectator goes with 91. It's really solid, and for $30 though, I'd consider a pass because there are a lot of other Chardonnays I'd rather have in this price point. So that's a scoop, and let's move on. Let me make a quick mention to yesterday's episode. The Cavio I reviewed yesterday was the 05. I didn't mention that I did the 04 prior, but I noticed in the comments some people said I've already had this or I had it for months. The 05 just came out, so I did do the 04 once, I think episode 160, and yesterday was the 05, which I was really excited about, and it was a good wine, and it was real cool. And speaking of real cool, good values, this has huge potential. This is the El Nino Loco, little crazy action, 2005 Côte de Luberon. And the Luberon is a very interesting part of France, making very good, inexpensive wine. This wine is 60% Carignan, which is an amazing Rhone grape, 30% Grenache, another amazing Rhone grape, and 10% Syrah. So it's an absolutely classic southern France blend. Going with Rhone varietals. Carignan is a very intriguing grape that brings a lot of spiciness and a lot of, strawberry aspects and does a lot of creative things. So I'm a fan. I appreciate Carignan, and if you've never had a Carignan, you need to absolutely seek it out. Again, 10 bones, 90 Parker. On paper, this wine can bring the thunder. Let's see if it does. And before I get into that, while I'm in a little bit of a hype mood and an elevated status, I need to give an extremely major shout out to SS Chris. A lot of new Vaynerchuks are watching. A lot of people don't realize that when you look above my head and you see Gary's scores and you click that and all the data's there, every wine I've ever tasted with my scores and the recap is maintained by one of the biggest fans of the show and a longtime viewer, Chris Stanisi, SS Chris. And I need to give him a major, major shout out because, I just looked at it and I was like, man, there's a lot of work in here. And it comes straight from the hizzy, the heart. And I appreciate that. So, big ups, thank you. Guillaume Crow. This is El Loco. Nino Loco. Let's give it a whirl. Again, right away you're going to realize that there's a beautiful strawberry component coming through on here, but what I like here is that there's a reduction of bacon fat that I like quite a bit. In the Russian households, we would char bacon and then put onions in it and then char it some more, keep it on the stove and then bring bread and dip it and eat it. And that's why everybody in Russia dies at 47 from a heart attack. That and the obscene amount of vodka that's consumed and the stress of the government controlling you and throwing you in jail for no reason. But that's besides the point. That was a big tradition in the Russian households, and that's what this smells like quite a bit to me. That bacon fat oil left over with onions thrown on top and then cooked again. It was pretty scary stuff. But I have to admit, I love it. It smells tremendous with the integration here of the strawberry and nice little hints of black pepper coming through as well. A very meaty component coming through in this wine. Am I going to have to go with a deer on the road with the knife? Yes, that's where it's going a little bit on this nose. So I'm appreciating that. Let's give it a whirl. Let's chalk one up for the old school fans. We do so much old world fans leave the room and we play up the big roller coaster explosions, extravaganza, $400 million budget Hollywood film, New World bomb wines. Well, this is going a little bit more to the on the lawn, sitting there reading a classic book, listening to some classical music, and smoking a pipe. And just enjoying yourself. This is old world action coming through perfectly. A beautiful rendition all over your palate of red fruit. Not only are strawberries potent in this, but very sour, almost spoiled, but sour cherries. When they're soft. I like cherries when they're hard. But getting that clearly on the mouthfeel. Again, the peppers are bouncing around left and right. Not only black pepper, but a little white pepper action on this wine as well. I'm very intrigued with the overall structure of this wine. This wine tastes like a $20 Chateau to me more than anything else. So that's extremely impressive to me. This could absolutely shock me in a blind tasting as a $20 to $25 Chateau. Maybe it's a little bit more ripe than I would think, but all in all, this is the kind of wine that people are looking to consume with food. This is not really your best bet if you're just sitting on the porch and you're sipping away, because it's rustic. It's a little bit more rough, a little 5 o'clock Chateau, which I know some of the ladies like, a little bad boy action, between 14 and 21. If you want to get the ladies, you got to go bad boy. They don't work for me. I'm too soft-hearted. That being said, this wine is for absolutely any kind of wine drinker. The price point is in the house. CKCs, College Kid Crew, pay attention. That means all the Facebook heads out there. This is the kind of wine you want to seek out. If you want to get real, you can order a nice old pizza, and this wine will kill with it. $9.99, Parker is right on the head. I'm going to go 90 points as well. This wine is absolutely serious and extremely well made. You know what, Mott? You know what we're going to do here in a little bit? I want to show something that we haven't done in the past. Can you get in on this? Do you see the sediment from this wine? Are you able to get in there? Are we able to get that action? Yeah. Good, very nice. So, this wine's kicking sediment because it's unfiltered. It's not being stripped of its true flavors, which is such a practice of winemakers now, who are like mad scientists trying to make wine for you in the way you think you want it. No, this is true, unfiltered, pure, from the vineyards, exactly what you want to see. This is very nice, a really impressive effort, and has gotten me excited about today. Let me give you a little rinse. This one's for one of my favorite Vaynerchuks of all time. Julius has been bugging away at me to do this. I promised him I would do it this week, so I'm coming through on my promise, though I'm not very good at that. This time I am. 14 US dollars from, 14 is my favorite number at times besides 5 because Richard Todd wore that number. And what am I talking about? Because I'm getting cockled here. Sebastatini, 2004, Sonoma County Cabernet. 14 bones. And if this rocks, if this brings thunder, we can get really excited because it is difficult to find under $15 California Cabernet that brings a little something something. Now, right off the bat, you've got to be completely happy with the beautiful color. It's dark, and dark is good when it comes to red wine. Let's give it a whirl. Not only the Oak Monster, but the heavyweight champion of the world, Oak Monster, is in this wine. The Oak Monster is kicking my butt in the t-shirt contest because he's selling like hundreds. There's been like 3 Vaynerchuk t-shirts of me. You know what? Put up links. One to the Vaynerchuk and one to me playing dodgeball underneath the video. I want people to see what I'm talking about. The Oak Monster is the champion of the Vaynerchuk world, and it is found very prominently in this nose. There's an enormous amount of oak in this wine. A good shot of vanilla, which comes from the oak, coming through is very obvious as well. And some really obvious raspberry reduction sauce, almost like heated. I would almost look at it as, heated down and then put on a bagel with cream cheese kind of action. So those are the components on the nose. Let's give it a whirl. There's a solid amount of oak in this wine. However, I have to admit, I'm pretty surprised about the overall explosion of pure fruit in this wine. There is a really nice red and black fruit component to this wine. Blackberry, raspberries. I mean, let's go with the whole Skittles rainbow. Shove it directly in your mouth, and then take a big-ass stick and stick it in your mouth. That's the flavor profile you're going to get from this wine. And you know what? There's a lot of people that like that style. It's a little bit more refined. I'm happy with the edges around that wine. However, for me, it's a little too oaky. And now let's not forget something. Let's talk about wine for a minute today. Because again, so many new peeps watching the show may not know what everything's about. Who gives a rat's ass what I say? I don't care what I score it, or what I say, or how excited I am. You have your own palate. Trust yourself. For me, this wine is over-oaked and a little fake-ified, as I like to say. But there's a lot of people that like this style because it's rich and juicy and fruity and delicious kind of action. So, if nothing else, if you're watching this for the first time or first couple times, understand one thing. Nobody critiques the kind of soda you drink. Well, some people, but nobody critiques the things you order on a menu. Trust yourself and your palate, and you will enjoy wine so much more. And that includes if you drink box wine, pink sweet wine, Carlo Rossi, don't be scared, but don't close your mind on me. Please. That's why you're watching the show. Try different things, like this Cote de Luberon. I'm telling you. Back to this wine. Getting off the soapbox. I'm going to go 86 points in this wine. It's too oaked for me. It's too blah. You know, generic cab stuff. I can find this at this price point, I think. I don't want to, you know, 86 is a very admirable score because there are some very nice components to this wine. I don't get confused. I know what I want to score them. But, that being said, this is not for me. Let's move on. And we're going to end this nicely. And that's probably a good segue to get the cloché. Because this cloché, and you find them in these beautiful bells. You know, you can ring my bell if you want, you know. This cloché comes from France and is made from goat milk and is something that I'm really looking forward to tasting for you in the show. Now I'm going to give a nice solid rinse because the last wine, who Craig asked, Big Craig in Arkansas. This is the Chateau Raymond Lephone 2003 Sauterne, 92 points, Robert Parker, 54 US dollars. Semillon based, late harvest Semillon style, dessert wine, you know, little noble rot action. And the cloché cheese. So let me pop this in for you first. If you are a goat cheese fan, this is absolutely something you need to seek out. The creaminess and the refinement on this cheese in comparison to so many other goat cheeses is remarkable. Butter. Absolutely beautiful butter component on the finish. Very earthy. We get a little Burgundian here. Is there a little armpit action in this cheese? Oh, there is. But admit it. Licking your armpit, not so bad. Now the dessert wine. Let me just say one other thing while I'm in this zone. Lurkers. A lot of you try to leave me an email me personally, or post on the Facebook account, or on Corked, or you send a post in the forums. You are a lurker until you leave a comment in an episode. Please join. Dessert. The one thing that makes Sauterne so amazing and separates it from all other dessert wines is the absolutely unbelievable nose of baked apricots. If you've taken an apricot, sliced it into 4 pieces, and put it on a frying pan, you will know, I said baked, excuse me, fried apricots. If you've ever done that, you will absolutely know what I'm talking about. Now, if you take a little caramel and butterscotch and pour it over after you pull it out, then that's what you're getting here. This is a beautiful golden component, but the apricot is really ripping through. I do get pineapple juice on the nose on this as well. Unbelievable. The viscous action. Oh my God. This wine explodes with marzipan, which is one of the cool little candies in the world. This is absolutely incredible. I don't know if it's a combination with the cheese, but there is an apricot and then it segues completely. I mean, exactly. Just like marzipan candy. It is absolutely fantastic. One of my favorites, and this is where things get skewed. I mean, you know, I like marzipan. Maybe you like poo-poo. I like, you know, Fruit Loops. Maybe you like grape nuts. I mean, it really comes down to your own flavors. I'm going to score this wine 95 plus points. The Raymond Lephone 2003 Sauterne is outrageous. This is an absolutely beautiful bottle of wine, and probably got an extra point or two because it comes directly from marzipan fruit flavors, like the fake fruit, you know, the apple marzipan. Those are awesome. I love this. This is a steal. People buy Chateau de Chem for $200-300 a bottle. I'm telling you right now, you get the experience here for a sixth of the price. It might be the combination with the cheese. And then a little sugar action, you know. But this is how I like to live. Man, that's good. You can't complain sometimes, right? Question of the day. What is your favorite cheese of all time? Let's make today a big day. Leave some comments, please. I'm going to stay up all night and read them all. Please. Let's make it a big day. Spread the thunder. Because you and a little bit of me, we are changing the wine world. Aren't we?